Hey guys, today's April the 26th. I want to do an analysis on the euro dollar. We all know things are pretty bearish here. In regards to technicals on the summary, everything is on a strong sell, oscillators, moving averages on the monthly, on the weekly, nothing is positive here. On the daily, there's nothing positive besides the oscillators are kind of neutral. Okay, here we're looking at the monthly. There's a low over here in 2000 of 82 cents, and we're somewhere around here now in some support. If we kind of zoom in, you can see this is supply zone right here. Going to be interesting how this is all going to play out. So that's the monthly with a sell signal. We go into the weekly. You see there's still sell signal, and we're entering that zone that not supply. Did I say supply? I might have said supply. Demand zone. The daily, this is where we're at right now. It's it looks like it could be pushing in there and maybe even pierce the bottom, but this is just letting you know what's going on if you're not aware of the euro, what's happening. And now we're going to go into the next clip. Okay, here we have the euro seasonality, and I'm going to start out with the 5-year. As you can see, December is very strong and July is very strong. Right now we're in April, and May and June are kind of flat. They're kind of even using a 5-year average. If we go into the 10-year, you can see that December is probably the strongest, and June and July a little stronger, above 60%. April is a little strong, but as we know, we're in April right now, and it's selling off. So you can see that May is a little weaker compared to April, May, and April, June, and July. May is a little weaker. Using the 10-year average on a GAN's number, we go to the 15, and you can see that April is a little weaker. May is still weak, probably the weakest. And June and July are a little stronger, and always December always being the strongest. We go to 20 years, and then you can see that it's kind of flat. April, but May still being the weakest. And June and July a little stronger, but nothing beats December on the euro. What we get out of this? Well, if you guys seen the video that I posted a couple of days ago, maybe today or yesterday, about the seasonal trap. We're here, right? And it looks like if May is going to be the low, there could be a bottom coming in now, or there could be a bottom coming in June and maybe start rising up into July. That's just me hypothetically just thinking out loud. Because sometimes the May swing low doesn't play out. But if they're going to play the trick, well, we're going to carry over a month and trap some bears, or trap them here or here, May, June. These are the two dates you're going to should be concerned, because this month is already ending, and seasonally May is the weakest. So it could probably be in reverse. Instead of trying to find a swing low here on the seasonality pattern, maybe this is the opportunity, maybe where to buy, so it could lead up into June being the strongest month. See what I'm saying? So that's all in the eyes of the beholder. But I'm just kind of giving you a strategy just by looking at seasonality. We got cycles to look at. I got other stuff I wanted to show you, but just if this is the data that we have, May and June I think are going to be very important on the euro. Okay, here we have another seasonality chart on the euro, and you can see that it's ugly, man. It is ugly. This is where we at roughly, and we got May and June. Remember, May is the weakest. In June, July, you kind of just start picking up, or I guess July and June are kind of more stronger, and December is the strongest. Let's look at the 5-year average. You see the 5-year average, it kind of bottoms out somewhere around May 9th. You could say maybe that first week of May. It kind of bottoms out, and then it just kind of goes sideways, and it just kind of fluctuates, higher. I'm not going to get too crazy around June, July. I'm just trying to see where it could possibly be a swing low compared to like where we at now, where it could maybe reverse the trend. Just looking at the seasonalities. We'll go next into cycles to see if there's anything that correlates or we get a cluster. This is the 10-year average, and you can see that the 10-year average bottoms out somewhere roughly between on May 26th. So we got the first week of May and and towards like the last week of May, the 26th. It bottoms out, gets a nice little pop, pulls back, kind of goes sideways, and it goes up. So you can see that maybe on the average, the 10-year average, June is a little stronger. And if we look at the 5-year average, you can see that June and July is much stronger than June. So you can see that prices are a little higher. And lastly, we'll look at the 15-year. In the 15-year, it just kind of goes sideways, but there is kind of like a swing low here in the 25th. Then it pulls back. And there's a bottom or swing low on May 26th and also on May 17th. So you got May 9th for the 5-year average. You got May like you can say 17 and the 26, which covers the 10-year, and the 15-year average has like a bump of the 17 and the 26. So let's put the 10-year. You can see that the 10-year pulls even lower, but the May 26 is it. And then we have all three. You got the first week of May right here that it kind of bottoms out on the 5-year average. You got May 17 on the 10-year average. And then you got a cluster between the 10-year and the 15-year of May 26. So if you want to go long on the euro, just using seasonality, those are the kind of dates you want to look at. Now remember, of the seasonal pattern that you must know, if they want to trap, you bulls long, they'll push it even to June, making you think like, you know what, we're going to go to 82 cents and then pull it back in and go long and start buying in June and start maybe riding the wave up. Just my opinion, just letting you know the stuff I see. That way, if it starts pushing lower and May 26 comes and go and it's still selling off, I've always said the next month is the most dangerous month. And that's the one you have to be, really on your game. We're going to go to the next clip. Okay, in this clip, this is what I do the cycle analysis. And I'm using data set going way back, like June of 2006, around there, all the way to current prices right now. I mean, I could go all the way down to 2003, but I figure I just use the default. So look at this thing. It's just been sideways for a couple of years, doing some head fakes, and now it's kind of pulling lower into these lows. Let's see what the weekly cycles are telling us. First off, we have a weekly cycle, which is the 196. This is the 196 that we have. It's one of the strongest ones, and you can see that we are already approaching a bottom. Can it continue going lower? Yeah, it could continue going lower. But in regards to the cycles on the weekly chart, and this one has a good correlation. So if I was going to be placing some bets using cycle analysis, we are very close to a bottom. You could take a risk also because this was close to a bottom, and then the bottom really came, a couple of months later. That could happen too. But in regards to cycle analysis, this one is indicating that we are approaching a bottom. The next cycle you want to look at from the high Bartels and spectrum analysis is the the 169. There's a 235. It's not as strong as the 169 in regard to Bartels, but it's up there. It's the 235, and the 235. What do you think about them amples? Is inverse. It's euro should have been going up and peaking up here, and it peaked out somewhere, 2021 May, and this one was the 2020 December high, and it's just been selling off. So this looks like it's inverted, but we'll see. But this cycle is not working out with the euro, because now it really bottoms out around May of 2024. Can it just continue going lower sideways to May 24 and then pick up on this cycle? Yeah, it could. It could happen. The correlation is not as great on this cycle with price action compared to the 169 cycle on the weekly chart. The correlation is pretty good. I mean, going back all the way to 2011, even to 2007, you can see that here was like a little backwards, but here was good. The bottom came early, came early over here, but then it went down. It kind of went sideways. It went up. So it kind of lined up here. The cycle came early, and price action bottomed out later. So that could happen here too. I'm not going to promise you anything, but all I'm telling you is this is what the data is showing. 169 as bottom. The 235 is inverse, so it's not working. And then there's one that it's a shorter time frame, is the 86. It's really 84, but the program picks it up as 86. Is the dominant cycle, and Euro's heading down while the cycle is going up. And this one peaks out somewhere around July. So that's what's going on the weekly. There's also these other two cycles that are not strong enough, but they're there. I didn't want to include them, but I guess I'll include them now. It's the, let's get the 86 off. Is the 136 and the 104, which is kind of close of the 169. So the 136 is approaching a bottom. And then the 104, where is the 104? Right here. The 104 bottoms out somewhere around July, which we know seasonality, June and July are, pretty much stronger. So there's a lot of moving parts here. What I would do to do a composite, well, I would take the 169, since this is the strongest, and throw in the 235 and see what we get. That's what we get, a bottom somewhere around June and July. We'll throw in there the 86, and you can see that it's up due to the fact that the 86 cycle is up, and you can see price action going backwards. So the 86 is not really lining up with what price action is doing. So you can see the 169, the 235, and if you wanted to add the those other cycles that are not as strong, but they're there, is that 136, that's 3 there. You could do the 104, and pretty much that's your composite. So if this is the bottom we're approaching, then a possible swing, high or top or peak will be somewhere around August of 2023. We're going to go now to the daily chart and see what we could dissect there in regards to cycles. Okay, this is the daily chart. I'm not going to spend too much time. I had to extend the data just to see if there was anything more important on cycles coming up. But pretty much is the same thing. So I'm using the data set from February of 2018 all the way to current prices right now. And there's a few cycles. So we'll start with the bigger one. There's the 228 cycle right here. And you can see that cycle bottomed out in February. And you can see that price action is pushing lower. This cycle peaks in June of 2022. The next cycle is the 124, is this one. This is smaller. You can see that it bottomed out around in March, hit a trough, and price action just continued going lower. The cycle peaks out in June. The next one will be the 100, and this one is kind of actually lining up with price action. It bottoms out now in April, around the 28th, and it peaks up in June. All those I showed you peak up in June. There's not really good correlation on none of these from what I see. On the daily, they're a little off. That was a 24. And there's one that I call it 50-50. Is not as strong in regards to Bartels in height on the spectrum analyzer, but it's kind of there right below it. I figure I'll show it to you. Is the 162, which, pretty much lines up with the other ones. And this one peaks out in June also. So I'm not even going to bother showing you a composite because it's probably going to show the same thing. I mean, I'll try, what is it, a 228. We'll do the 228. We'll add the stronger ones, the 124 and the 100, and see what shows up. And pretty much it bottoms out here around April and it peaks in June. So nothing's really changed. Just the price action has continued going lower. So that's it for the daily in regards to cycle. I already showed you seasonality. We looked at cycles on the euro. Now we're going to go to the next clip. Okay, lastly, this is the simple glance chart I use. As you can see, using a 3-month, we fill the value area low of 1.078. And we're extending now to S2 pivot, 10614. And we could push even lower to 1.0424. In regards to this pointing channel, you're below all the moving averages. You're below the cloud. This is as bearish as going to get. And I don't see anything positive right here in this chart on the daily. On the weekly, you're below the cloud. So this is bearish. You're below all the moving averages. And using a 1-year market profile, you're at the value area low, which is that 1.0770, and you already failed that. So that's, and the MACD, I don't have volume on Euro, but you can see that it's all negative here. If we go into the squeeze play chart, you can see that on the monthly, we have a 9th candle Tom D mark indicator. So that's interesting in April. Like to see how May is going to play out. But we have that count set in on the monthly. On the weekly is not set up, but it's very oversold. Still negative. You crack this level, so you got that sell signal below the moving averages. PPS sell signal, EPS sell signal on the monthly, on the daily, on the weekly. One thing positive on the monthly is the Tom D mark indicator, maybe a sign of exhaustion. The 9th candle could be an indication that maybe a possible, turning point into May. So we'll see. On the daily, you can see that we had a 13 Tom D mark indicator signal also, and prices are still kind of pushing lower, showing no, sign of, stopping yet. And on the 12-hour, here they were in a squeeze play, and then it got triggered short, and it executed well. I don't really follow the Euro, but I'm just showing you what I'm seeing. And you can see that on the 12-hour, there was a nice squeeze play setup, and then it got triggered short here. Last chart I'm going to show you is going to be my midpoint chart, and you can see that they're all negative. They're all below their previous range on the yearly, monthly, and weekly, and daily. Support for now will be that $1.06. On the daily, on the weekly, there is no support. You're below everything. And on the monthly, there is a support of $1.59, which is right here. And the last line will be the yearly support. The previous year extensions will be that $1.64, somewhere around here. And it's really approaching it now. So I'm sure it's going to kiss it and maybe even push lower. But that's the last line of support on the midpoint chart with the extensions. What are my thoughts? It could continue pushing lower. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do $1. I was talking about it. I put it out on a tweet, but I know this video is going to be so long. I'm going to just have to dedicate time just to see the dollar and see what the dollar is showing, seasonally wise and cycles, and see if we could make sense of all of it. From what I showed you and what I can remember and what my thoughts are, and my opinion is that we're very close to a bottom, but we have to be cautious between May. Is May seasonally wise is where the swing low will probably play out, which is next month. But keep in mind that they always set a bear, a trap for the bears and push it even lower, or just go sideways in May and go lower in May and push it into June and then trap you and then reverse it and pop it. So you have to keep that in mind. But I think we're kind of like in crunch time here. I say not really much April. It could turn around, in the next couple of days, but who knows? I say either May and June. Those are the two crucial months to probably keep an eye on. And, I probably have to load in the charts on the master chart and look at, other Gans technique in regards to another timing points to see if there's any clusters. But so far, from what I see with the cycles and the seasonality, May and June, and now, pretty much right now, April, like the last week of April, these are all hot spots for potential turning points. All you got to do is just wait for price to confirm it, because at the end, price is king and price is going to do what's going to do. But let price action show you that things have stopped, going lower, making higher highs and higher lows, and see where was that last pivot and where it left it. And maybe you could probably pick up some clues on that. Hopefully you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts. I'm interested now to see what happens, in the future. So I'll probably keep my eye on the Euro, and maybe the next video I'll do will be on the US dollar.